Very good afternoon all.
Please, without fail, because just waiting for yourself and I'll start looking over. Today I'm talking about this topic of very motivation. Then whatever you want to do, that I'm not sure. This also doesn't do. Maybe after the first, then you get it. Now the students are at the just so whatever the rest of the they are not acting voluntarily.
Hi everybody, very good afternoon all. Hope you're all able to hear me.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Jayant.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, Mohan, good afternoon. So people, probably this would be the last session of open elective, so people can be a little more relaxed on this, right? And in the last session, we started discussing on the LPG, new economic policy. NEP, we most often we discuss the new education policy, but this particular unit we started discussing about new economic policy. Okay, guys, let's get started. So in this particular unit, unit 5, government in the business. So that's the title of the top unit. And here we started discussing about two aspects. One, how the government, business, and people, all the three community are being interconnected, and what is the role of government and business in the lives of the people, and how people are contributing to the government's and the businesses profit. Right. So as I told you, this particular unit, the government's role in developing the business. On the other side, the governments, how they regulate the business. So that is two sides of the government. So the government plays a role of supporting and as well as in the regulating side. That is your initial discussion which we had it. And the second half of your unit is nothing but your economic reforms. So economic reforms, as you all know, in India, the economic reform started during the year 1991, where the major Indian economic reform was done by Dr. Manmohan Singh, who came out with new economic policy. And that policy where we are creating LPG, that is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. Right. So three elements are being created using the economic policy. So that we have discussed so far. So here it is again coming back. So relationship between the government and the business. So government takes both the roles. One is regulating the businesses and supporting the business. On the other side, business again does this two role. One is supporting the government and paying the taxes correctly, again contributing to the revenue for the government. So business also plays both the roles, and government has got two roles. So now these two entities has to function hand in hand. Only then the whole economy can function without any flaws or without any hurdles. So that's the reason why these two entities are considered to be the most important entity when it comes to the economic evolution or economic revolution. Anything needs to happen within the country. So these two are the basic entity which we need to know. Government and the business, as I told you, Demox principle. So these two are basic entity. Next one coming to here is new economic policy. So where new economic policy, there are a lot of economic reforms attached to this new economic policy, but the basic ones are LPG, that is liberalization of the trade, privatization of the firms, and globalization of the companies. So these three was being started during the 1991. So only after that you can identify a lot of foreign companies comes to India. Many government organizations are got disinvested, and the private party have started investing their money, and trade liberalizations has happened between many of the countries, right? So these three entities are happening, and that is the LPG format. So that is your liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So economic reforms which has been started by the government, and that was during the 1991, in which in order to solve the economic crisis and to accelerate the growth, economic growth is called as economic reforms. And again, as I told you, it is all because of these three. So when new economic policy was framed, I told you this has taken two sides. One is a stabilization measure and structural measures. Okay, stabilization measures, whenever your economic is having a major slowdown, during that time, whatever be the slowdown happens, I need to immediately stop the negative fall. I need to stop the fall of your economy. So that is your stabilization measure which was initially taken. Later, I need to do the structural reforms, so that by stabilization measure, the structural reforms can bring me the growth stage. I cannot stay in the same line, right? Or you cannot stay in the same position. I need to start growing back. So for which I need a certain structural reforms. So even that was being done using your new education policy. Yes, so this also we have discussed how all these three are very critical. So here, your liberalization, I told you, liberalization can give you a lot of benefits. One of the 5 important benefits is nothing but removal of your barriers to the international investing, unrestricted capital flows, stock market appreciation, and reduced political risk, followed by diversification for investors. When you have multiple investors, probably there are more chances that you will not have any sort of risk attached with your capital flow. If you're told the investors are from the same portfolio or investors are from the same profile, then you can have more chances that you're exposed to more risk, that your liberalization cannot be that easily achieved. So to do that, liberalization has end up with these 5 benefits. One, it is removed the barriers of international investing. People from any firm or any country can come down to our individual investments. Unrestricted capital flow, right? So my capital can flow from any part of my country, any part of the country to anywhere. So now what happens is, due to the unrestricted capital flow, the flourishment of the business that happened throughout, it has been done globally. That's the one of the biggest advantage, and that's the reason why India is getting a lot of investments through FIS. Normally we call that FIS and FDIs. FIS are foreign institutional investors, and FDIs foreign direct investors. So these two is nothing but your flow of capital representation. So now these two have got increased a lot during your liberalization. Okay, and of course this is why it is important. Next, we came out discussing the privatization. So privatization describes a process by which the piece of property, whenever the business companies are owning certain part of your business from the government, if the certain part of the business is being sold to the private party, then that particular process is called as a privatization. Okay, so when certain piece of a business or a property which is being sold from government to the private party, that particular process is called as privatization. And privatization happens because of many reasons. One, if I wanted to go for an exponential growth, right, increase in my money, increase in the value of the goods what I provide. So for this, privatization is generally required, right? Any sort of technological advancements, privatization definitely I need to apply. So for example, if you go to any passport offices in India, right, the people those are working, or the company which is taking care of the passport renewal or the passport issue, right, though it is with the government entity which is providing the passport, people those are working to provide or working the back end operations, it is being done by the TCS. So TCS is the company which is taking care of the back-end operations of all your passport forms. So now if you go to the passport office, you can just see a lot of people moving around with the TCS on TCS tax, because that has been taken care by the TCS. So again, privatization. So now within the government firm, one particular venture or one particular vertical alone, it is being outsourced. Again, that is called as a privatization. It's been sold to one particular community or one particular company. It generally helps the government to save money and increase efficiency, where private companies can move goods quicker and more efficiently. And one more element is privatization. There are a lot of critics who says that privatization needs to be stopped. I told you the example of privatization of education and privatization of liquor, right? In many of the countries, if we just look at it, manufacturing of liquor, it has been given to the private parties, and government is still holding the education sector with them, right? But whereas in India, it is exactly the opposite. You can just see the government is still having, in Tamil Nadu especially, we have that one. Government of Tamil Nadu still holds the liquor segment with them. But again, education has been totally privatized. So because of these specific product-based requirements, people are growing in large numbers for critically analyzing this privatization concepts. They doesn't want to be privatized, right? Either if they go for the privatization, which business needs to be privatized, people need to know, right? Education, definitely people, they don't want to get privatized because the price hike, the fee structure, the price hike could happen. They doesn't want it. But in India, kind of country like India, we cannot do that one. We need to give it to the private party where they can flawlessly run the business. So that's the reason why education was here again being privatized. And again, many places it has got privatized, right? And finally, the globalization part. In the last class, we started with the globalization concepts, where we started discussing about the Silk Route. So people, I think this is where we stopped in the last class, right? Silk Route, Silk Road.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Silk Road, as I told you, this is the connecting point, which was the connecting point. Now it is not existing. Though the roads are existing, it's been completely abolished, and it was during the war times, right? China people, the Mongolians, when they attacked China, they doesn't want to have this benefit of doing the trade through that road. So the Silk Road was completely banned and been abolished by Mongols. So at that, because of that time, the meeting point of East and West was being totally cut off. Indians were also using this particular road. India is here. If you just look at it, Indians were also using the this particular road for transporting spices to east as well as to the west. But now later what happened is everybody started preferring sea maps, sea routes. So that is the reason why CS started, people have started looking for sea routes. So they doesn't want to take up the Silk Road. Okay. And this is an example which I gave you for your historical globalization. So globalization doesn't happen now. Even before, very, very long time before, globalization has happened. Okay, and you will be surprised with the first commodity which has been exported, which has been brought to India. Any idea? Can anyone just let me know which was the first commodity that was being brought to India, which symbolizes the globalization? You can just post your answers in the chat box. Which is the first commodity that has been exported to India from foreign, any of the foreign country? Come on, is anyone? Can I get some answers? Which was the first commodity that was being exported? Tobacco. It's a good attempt, Akash, but not tobacco. I would say which was imported from foreign country that has come to India. One commodity which has come to India first. Imported to India, not exported. Imported to India. No idea. Actually, the first commodity that got imported to India is ice. So here during the Mughals emperor, right? So even before that, we had Rajputs, so who were ruling various parts of India. And in deep south also we had various kingdoms that was evolving. So at that time, one of the foreigner who was coming from UK, that is from Britain, every product here was been so unique and so new to them. And for us, whatever that fellow has brought, it was not new to us. Everything we have seen, and we are using a little more of higher technological advanced products we have been using at that time. So they didn't have, they have not seen anything of that sort. So the king asked, what could be the, asked the traveler, what you can, best product, what you can bring it to me. So he said many products, and king, everyone said that all these products are already available to us, or already available with us. There is nothing new. And king asked for himself, I have not seen something called ice. Ice is the water which is getting converted to the solid form. So he has not seen ice. If you can transport ice, if you can give me ice, I can see that one. So that is the only thing which I wanted. And for him, they have taken a lot of other measures to bring ice without changing the form. Without changing the form, they have cut the ice and they have transported it and they brought it. So that's the first commodity which has been transferred. So from there onwards, if you look at it, many products have started moving to our different places. Far off places, many products have started moving off. So historically, we will be using Silk Route, which is part of our globalization road to the globalization. And second one important factor is economy. Right, the economy claims that I need to have this globalization process, or otherwise what would happen is I don't have enough power, right? So economy, they wanted to determine the movement of goods and the value additions. The overall economies of the particular industry or a trade is an important factor in a globalization, right? When I don't move my goods, when I don't have this particular process called value addition, right? People, value addition is a process which you need to understand, right? So value addition, Value addition is nothing but, say, for example, you are having raw material as one particular commodity, right? Manufacturing car, definitely you people would have seen the manufacturing of the car, right? Can anyone let me know the what are the components is part of the car? You can just throw some answers in the chat box. What are the components you can see in the car? What are the list of components you can see in the car? Come on, guys, put it in the chat box. No one knows what are there in the car. Engine, very good. Engine is a major component in the car. Okay, what are the others? Yes, of course. Car bars, the body of the car, correct?
So steel, tire.
Okay, tires, steering, Rashika, timing chain. I didn't get that, Priya. What is a timing chain? Transmission system. Yeah, correct. Components. Spark plug. Okay, okay. Spark plug. Fine. Tires, engine, brake pad, windows. Correct. Now, when they manufacture this car, right?
Leathers.
Yeah. So now, when they manufacture this car, we have these many components, right? We'll take any one car company, right? Tata Steels, Tata Motors, or we'll take anyone, Mahindra and Mahindra, or we'll take Honda, or we'll take any car for that matter, any national or international firms. Okay. Now, when they manufacture these cars, I need a lot of components. Do you think all these components are manufactured by the same company?
No, sir.
Yes.
No, sir.
So, yeah, correct. So, how it turns? For example, Tata, they are having one particular vertical called Tata Steel. So, to make the body of the car, I need raw steel. So, the steel can be converted to the car body. So, the car's body is being manufactured by Tata Steels. They come out with the Tata cars, they convert that into car's body. So, the body can be used by the Tata Steel, I mean, Tata Motors, because they are having Tata Steel wing. So from there, they can take the raw material of steel. But there are companies who doesn't have the steel manufacturing sector with them. So what they do? They buy the source. They take the body of the car from some other company. Similarly, in India, I mean, in Tamil Nadu, we have a company called Roots, ROOTS, Roots. In our car or in any vehicle, there is one component called horn, HORN. You remember that? Horn is there in every vehicle. So Roots is a company which manufactures horn. There is another one important component called a speedometer. If we just look at the dashboard and all, there will be speedometer which represents the speed. Right? That speedometer, there is a company called Pricol, P-R-I-C-O-L. Pricol manufactures speedometers. Right? Now, instead of me manufacturing all the components of the car, rather what I can do is I can buy one product from each company and I can assemble to make a car. So now when I assemble to make a car, the steel is being converted to the car's body. In that, I'm fixing my engine, I'm fixing doors, I'm fixing windows, I'm fixing all the transmission systems, all your electronic systems, part of it, and I'm keep converting that into a car. So now when a steel, it is getting converted to the car, this particular conversion is called as your value addition. Price of the steel and price of the car is not the same. Value is getting added on everyday basis. So value is getting added on every process basis. Right? So when there is every process, when it is keep adding value, the main reason is the movement of the goods. The goods are being transported from one part to the other. So the movement of the goods, that is enthusing, or that is called as your transformation or transmission of your economic status, and that is nothing but adding value to the product. So for which globalization is the only factor that has made this particular movement of goods and value addition merely possible. right? If the movement of the good is not happening, then there is no uh, there is no process called as globalization. Globalization cannot happen without the movement of goods. So that's the reason why when they just move the goods, right? So they wanted to have more value addition that can happen. So globalization resulting in value addition of one single commodity. I told you in the yesterday's example, when you're taking mobile phone, microprocessors are the core for mobile phone. If you take laptop, motherboard is the core of a laptop. So all these motherboard microprocessors are not manufactured in by respective American companies. For example, if you buy a Dell computer, if you buy Microsoft this one, or if you buy any Google's product, none of them they are having the silica, that is your microprocessor manufacturing. They don't have it. Rather, they what they have is they used to buy it from China. So the movement of goods starts from China. Okay, the valuation starts. And that's the reason why the economy becomes a major reason for promoting this globalization. Unless I have a prominent economic status, I need to have more and more of export-based goods. Only that it would result me in taking your levels to the highest. Okay, so economy can grow only because of this globalization process. The next factor is your resources and markets. Okay, so unless I have enough resources in my country, people will not come to my country for establishing any sort of trade or establishing any sort of product requirement. I told you the example of Indian Ocean. Remember that a lot of ores are available there in Indian Ocean. So because of that resources, people are coming to India to establish some sort of relationship. So that is the reason, because resources and markets again trying to globalize more products. I can move my commodity, I can move my goods, and I can help any one of the product to be have the value addition process. Okay, and here comes your resources and markets that plays a major role in your globalization. And the next one is your production issues. A lot of production companies that is having a lot of issues, so they go ahead with combining their production process with some other company. If you look at it, Toyota's, they recently launched some car called the Glanza. People remember that? Does anyone know that? I'm not sure how many of you know that. Toyota's come out with a product called Glanza. If you
Yes, sir.
Yes, if you look at the back, that is the rear part of Glanza, or for that matter, if you just look at the whole body of the Glanza, it reflects exactly the other car. Can you just let me know which car is that? Glanza will be reflecting exactly the another company's car. In Maruti Suzuki, they came out with a car variant called Baleno, right? Not the old one, new Baleno. Okay, the new Baleno, if you just go to it, there will be one sharp an arrow type of finish in the rear part. If you just look at the back boot space, it will be in that space. It will be in this shape. The same structure was being used by the Toyota Glanza now. Because Baleno and Toyota, when they combine together for manufacturing one particular variant alone, they are using that particular shape. And now what happened is this process is called as a production sharing. They have started using production sharing process. So now production issues are being solved because of this globalization process. Okay, so I can get this particular technology, I can buy this particular product, I can make use of that particular product. Many new inventions which are happening around the globe, we are able to buy it today. Why? Because again, it's globalization, right? If you go to that Amazon's website, or if you go to if you just been part of Instagram or any other Facebook or any other social media, there is a website called Rare Products. We used to have some different products and all they used to launch. Something which is used for kitchen set, something which is we are using for cleaning the car. Different products they used to come out with. And for cleaning the car, they had one foam type. So when you just when you just foam the whole car, no, so once it get liquidized, it takes all the dirt, it removes all the dirts from the car, right? So look at that particular product. It was been manufactured somewhere in Japan, but now it is being used all over the place, right? So like that, every single product which has got more innovation in it, because of this technological adoption, like social media development, or any sort of media development, people have used that particular media to transport their product. People have used that particular media to advertise and promote their individual products. So globalization become more possible when we are having this technological advantage. So that is your seventh important factor, right? How technology can help you in globalizing certain products. Okay, and coming back to your production issues. So I can easily sort out my production problems, production issues when I have globalization. Because initially in the production issues, we had labor issues, lot of labor issues were there during industrial revolution, that is during your 1970s. At that time, we had that production issues where many of the Indians, they doesn't know how to operate few machines. So for which they wanted to import global employees. And that's the time where the global employees were so costly, they were not that much easy to import them. So what they did is they purchased few machinery, they started teaching. So they came out with something called as ITA, right? ITA is one of the diploma courses which was there parallel running during 1970s and 1980s. They will teach you how to operate a machine, right? So to overcome this production issue, they came out with this sort of additional attachment. So they can study, I can use it, and I can get myself trained on that machine. So my job will be related to that machine. Wherever that machine is getting operated, I can go, I can get a job. Okay, they have jotted this production issues by importing technology or by importing the machines and importing the usage of that machine. And the fifth important factor, if you just look at it, political. A lot of political issues, political games has been played for improvising your globalization schemes. Because when it comes to globalization, you people will be wondering, when we have difference in the currencies, right? Difference in the currency forms. We discussed more about your currency exchange rate also in the previous few classes before. So when we are having this currency exchange or currency rates, two different countries are involved in determining the rate of the currency. Now again, one currency is valued higher, another currency is valued lower. This valued higher currency is because they are either they should have more exports. Okay, either the country should have more exports, or the country should have more dollar reserves, or the country should have more gold reserve. Either of the three should be there to have your currency to have more value when compared to the any cross currency. It is not that I need to compare my currency with only with the dollar. Dollar with INR, USD INR is a basic form of conversions, but I can convert to any form of currency, right? So now, if you look at this currency forms, when I do for the conversion, I need to have more exports, or I need to have more dollar reserve, or I need to have more gold reserve. For any of these three maintenance, I need a strong political background for my country. Trade, export is nothing but the trade. Unless I have a clean, neat trade policy across the nation, I cannot improvise my exports. Am I right here? So when I wanted to export, when I wanted to increase my value of exports, I need to have more political strong, political magnanimity. I need to have it. So to go ahead with improvising trade. Unless I have more dollar reserve, I cannot go climb my dollar value or claim my INR value higher. But how do I get more dollar reserve? It is possible only if I was able to cut down imports. So when I cut down imports, again, I need to be exporting that particular product within my country. So which means I need to have more production within my country. Only then I can trim down. Having more production again is again a political issue. Procurement of raw material, importment of labor, importing the technology, all these things involves a lot of political issues. Right? So now if we just look at it, simply the globalization cannot happen without any political factor. Political factor plays a major role in improvising my globalization or improvising my trade entity. Okay. And the sixth factor, if you just look at it, it is industrial organizations. A lot of industries has grown, has got produced, and organizations have got developed. But again, only because you can just see either the employees or either the labor force would have got shifted, or the technology would have got shifted. If not, industrial organizations cannot function throughout the globe. If you take Microsoft, 60% of the employees in the Microsoft are Indians. So when Barack Obama says Bill Gates to fire all Indians from the Microsoft, and Bill Gates, without any hesitation, he said that I cannot fire that. Rather, I can take my company to India. So which means that why was ready to take up that company to India even? Because major labor force is from India. And if you take all the top CEOs now, right? Twitter CEO, again, he's an Indian. Google CEO, again, he's an Indian. So major top performing in global corporates are being ruled by Indians now, are being led by Indians now. So again, because the labor force has been imported. And that's the reason why this globalization has become more easy for us. It has become more priceworthy for us to run this particular show of globalization. So industrial organization, that Microsoft has become an international company. Google has become an international company. No one knows that Google, it is, people started saying that it's an American firm, though it is American. People have started feeling its global presence. Google is globally present everywhere. Microsoft globally present everywhere. Any company for that matter, if you take it, they are all globally present. That's a Toyota globally present. Unless one car which is running in India, we cannot say that Toyota is a foreign country. It is foreign company. Though it is foreign company, product has been totally globalized. They are making the overall gradual market increase. That is possible. So that's the reason why globalization has become a very critical factor to understand. Right. So because of these three policies, liberalization policy, privatization policy, and globalization policy, this new economic policy has brought in more meaningful reforms to our country. During 1991, the value of Nifty, it was around 1,000. Today, the value of Nifty index, it is trading somewhere around 18,000. Sensex was at that time, it was only 5,000 index value. Sensex index, if you look at it, during that time, Sensex was just around 5,000 is the value of the index. Now it is crossing 50,000. So stock market index growth is nothing but the representation of economic growth. Unless people are having abundant money in their hand where they can go for investing their money, unless otherwise the stock market indexes cannot grow like that. All the companies, if you like take it, the market capitalization of companies are growing like anything. So if you take top three companies, take Reliance, take Tata, and I take ITC or HDFC or SBA, any bank. If you take top three, accumulate top three companies' market capitalization, right? Reliance market capitalization is 6 lakh crores. Tata's, again, it is few lakh crores, 4 to 5 lakh crores. And again, if you take SBA, it is another 6 lakh crores. These top three companies are equivalent to the GDP of India. My GDP, if you just know that Indian GDP is somewhere around $2.8 trillion, which is 20 lakh crores. Three companies are equivalent to the total GDP of the whole country, market capitalization of that. How this much growth was being made possible? Because of these economic reforms that has happened during 1991. From there onwards only, we are entering into the growth phase of it. Unless then, we never seen such a potential growth was there in India. No one have realized that. So only after that people have started doing this. Any sector, if you take for that matter, all the sectors has got a lot of changes, has got a lot of inputs on that. During this particular year, 1999 to 2000, if you look at it, continuously India was winning Miss World, Miss Universe, all these awards. We were frequently winning. I'm not sure, definitely wouldn't have heard about it because you wouldn't have born by that time. If you have just look at that duration, Indians have awarded all the Miss Universe, Miss India, Miss World. You know that Aishwarya Rai, Sushmita Sen, or Yukta Mukhi, Lara Datta. So all these are the famous personalities who claim to be the Miss India and Miss Universe. They are all during that, only that duration, 1999 to 2003. After that, none of them are awarded, or after that, Indians have never received that award. Only very recently we have got one. I'm not sure which is that. I think we have received Miss World or something. We have received one very recently. Why that particular gap? Why only during that 99 to 2003 we have seen that much awarding of Miss Universe? Because globally every country was moving towards this healthcare and cosmetic products. So Indians are the big market, but they cannot pierce Indian market coming out with their products. Their products were not able to reach Indian market at all. So what they did, they planned one big shows. So in every show, they've awarded Indians as a winners. So through Indians, they've started promoting their international cosmetics, international healthcare, international, all these kind of cosmetic items. They've started selling to India. So they opened that market through that particular business move. So again, this is part of your globalization technique. So any matter if you just take it, 2007, even the World Cup, what we won, right? That is a big business entity which is part of it. So again, that is part of your globalization, right? So now when I'm just trying to bring one particular product to my country, so I need to have this globalization scenario that needs to prevail throughout, only with which we can get in with your movement of goods, value addition of the goods can happen, or on the same time, I can feel my economy to grow better. Okay, feel my economy to grow better. So that is your new economic policy, guys. Okay, so and with that, that is end of unit number 5. So probably you can expect few important questions in LPG, that is your liberalization, privatization, and globalization. You can expect some important questions, and you can expect some questions related to the economic reforms in India. So even that is possible. So this would be this study material, and this particular PowerPoint would be there in your LMS. You can make use of it. You can download and you can make use of it. So now let me go through the syllabus part of yours. So people, I'll share the screen of the PowerPoint, sorry, the PDF file of the course, Business Organization and Environment. So this is your whole unit, guys. So if you just look at the whole unit, importance of government and the business relationship, which we have discussed, and new economic policy, 1991. Within brackets, it is mentioned LPG, which is liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So that is part of your syllabus. Okay, so that's end of unit 5. So now let's have an overall brush up of what we have seen in your overall units. Okay, so the first unit we started with understanding the business. Okay, so what is the meaning of business, for whom the business is conducted, and with whom the business are being conducted. So it is always understanding the link between to whom the business and for whom the business. Okay, and the industry types, of course, you know the classifications of industry: primary, secondary, tertiary, generic, and genetic, extractive, and you just came out with other few types of industry also. So hope you remember that. Commerce and trade, that is your auxiliary of tertiary industry. So normally this is the general classifications of industry which we have discussed, and you people have of course majority of the students have attempted these questions in your midterm test very seriously. You people have attempted really good, right? And of course advantages and disadvantages of the industry and business. So that we have covered it in your first part. Second part, we came out with the different types of business organizations. We started with sole proprietorship, partnership firms, advantages and disadvantages, limited liability partnership, corporate societies. So and then we came out with other few things also, something like public sector undertakings. So even that we have discussed in your different forms of business. Again, that was been added to your people. Could you all please mute yourselves? So that again we have seen that in your part of your forms of business organizations. And again, joint stock company. In that company, again we have looked at different aspects like Companies Act 2013 and joint stock company. Again we discussed that, and during your first midterm till joint stock company we had the test portions, and you people have attempted that really well. And types of the companies, formation of the company, this Companies Act 2013. Enough material I just posted here. It's all you need to do is just give a one-time reading on that. Okay, and coming back to the unit number 4, business environment. I told you every business it can get affected because of two entities. One is internal and external environment. So internal environment within the organization, how the business can get affected. If there is any change in the employees, if any change in the team who performs, if any change in your CEOs, if any change in your top level management. Again, you can just see the internal changes, internal environment change that can affect your business. On the other side, we have external environment. For external environment, I told you, we are coming out with PESTEL analysis, right? So the name of the analysis which we have done is PESTEL. Political factors affecting the external business, economic factors that can affect the business, social, legal, technological, environmental, right? So that is your PESTEL, P-E-S-T-L-E, PESTEL, right? Political, economical, social, T is technological, E is environmental, and L is again legal. So now each and every factor we have discussed with certain examples, how each factor can create impact on your business. And the last one, which we have covered it, which we have covered in the last few weeks, few days. Today we have completed that, the globalization also. So LPG, that is your new economic policy, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. New economic policy 1991, and we're coming up with economic relationship. So these are the major concepts which we have discussed according to your syllabus. So if you just look at the syllabus, it's been completely covered, right? And again, the LMS part, it's been kept updating, and I think unit 4 I added enough material. Unit 5 I added the new economic policy. This PowerPoint also will be there added further, so you can make use of this material for preparing for your final in semester, right? And I've shared my books also, so even that books you people can make use of it, and you can use that books for preparing your final exams. Okay, and yeah, people take down some important questions unit wise. Okay, people, are you there? People, could you all please take down some important questions unit
Yes,
wise?
sir.
Yes, ma'am. Please note it down. So because this, it could be like acting as a question bank for you, and you people can use this question bank for preparation. So we can concentrate on these important questions. Unit 1, first question, they can ask you something related to the describe in detail about the different types of industries. Describe in detail about the different types of industries. Where you need to talk about your genetic.
What, sir?
Describe in detail about the different types of industries. Different types of industries. People parallel will do it from the chat also. We can take it from the chat if you're not able to getting it from here. Okay. Describe in detail about the types of industries. Okay. Next question. Discuss the classification of commerce and trade. Discuss the classification of commerce and trade. So there is commerce and trade. Again, there are a lot of business classifications, guys. In your unit number 1, you can just refer that first image which I have discussed. Okay, use that image for getting to know about this one. Okay, the third question can be like the advantages part. Okay, so that you can just give a reading. So you can get the advantages and disadvantages in the 2-mark question. So whatever I'm giving is your essay type answers, guys. Okay, all these are your essay type questions. Coming back to unit number 2. There are 2 ways they can ask you question. One is they will ask you to differentiate sole proprietorship with partnership firm, or they will ask you to explain in detail about the sole proprietorship firm. So now what happens is, if you know the sole proprietorship and partnership firm, you can do the differentiation question, or if you know that individual concepts confidently, then you can answer the questions individually also. So I'll just give you the questions in both the ways. One is, take down this, explain the advantages and disadvantages of sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship. distinguish between the corporate cooperative society and the limited liability partnership firm LLP. Okay, so now when you are strong in these four, I don't think anything could be required for you guys. You can easily understand the sole proprietorship and LLP. You can give the differentiation, right? So that way you can take up that one. For the third unit, okay, people in the second unit, they may ask you to write a short notes on all, right? All forms of the business. So which means you need to describe sole proprietorship, partnership firm, limited liability firm, cooperatives, public listed companies. All these things you need to establish, public PSUs, public sector undertakings, all the elements of the organizations you need to describe, right? So if they ask you what are the different forms of business, discuss in detail about the different forms of the business. I'll just give you that one also. Discuss in detail about the business. So what's the weightage of paper? Weightage, I don't understand the meaning of that weightage. Anyway, you need to clear this paper, that's all. So Muhammad Akif. It should be either 3 credit paper or 2 credit. More probably that it should be a 3 credit paper. Okay. You'll be writing it for 60 marks. The total marks for the final end semester would be 60 marks. The question paper pattern, I'll share it with you in the this one Google Meet. I'll share. Sorry, in the WhatsApp group, I'll share it with you. Okay. Third unit, Companies Act. They will ask you to write the details about the Companies Act 2013. Okay, that is again a name. Sorry, Companies Act 2013. Very important question. Okay, and they might ask you the formation and the types of companies. That is another one important question. Formation and types of companies. This is for the third unit. Fourth unit, again, they will ask you only about the external and internal factors. Okay, pestle analysis, they will ask you. So discuss in detail about the pestle analysis. Very important question, guys. External environment, right? External environment that can affect the business. That is for your unit number 4. And unit number 5, new economic policy. New economic policy. That is again a very important question. So you can spread out these. First give preference to all these important concepts, then prepare first, then you can give the priority to the other elements. So you can take up this as your important questions. You can jot it out and you can make use of it. Okay, so people, it's time already. Okay, guys. So very happy that I was able to be part of your career. Just being there. Initially, I was able to discuss some of the business concepts, and I was very happy that we were able to be part of this particular in your academic year. I just played a very minimal role. Happy on that, and I just wish everyone a great success in your career. Of course, I'm not sure I will meet in the next semester, upcoming semesters. I'm not sure how much frequently we'll meet it, but next semester I don't have any open LT papers, so probably we'll not meet for the next time. So if possible, we just meet for any other occasions or any other thing. So feel free, any help if you just wanted, you can just feel free, you can ask, or you can just, you have my number always with you, so you can stay in touch with me. So see you all. So today is going to be the last day of your open elective course. So see you all in the next semester. Bye, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thanks a
sir.
lot, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.